Tony Awards are this Sunday, which means it's time to talk about predictions, projections, and some personal thoughts I have on the shows along the way. Out of the 12 musicals with multiple nominations, I have already seen, 12 musicals with multiple nominations. I have already seen 8. I see my 9th this evening, which is Operation Mincemeat, so it will be a little lacking on a thought there. And out of the 10 plays with multiple nominations, I was able to take in 4 before the awards, including the most nominated of the bunch, plus 1 pro shot, and I will also be watching the Good Night and Good Luck stream tomorrow night. So that's not one of the ones I saw. This is the most shows I've been able to see in a season in years, and I'm extremely curious to know where the awards will indeed land here. The Tony Awards are notorious for snubs and surprises, as well as being a bit behind the industry as a whole, but they're also the best marketing tool that the theater industry has to reach the audiences of the mainstream, introduce people to shows they wouldn't have otherwise heard of, allow shows to perform and gain new audiences, and to provide platforms for those who have been historically underrepresented. The Tony Awards are a real mixed bag that carries a lot of weight, for the better and for the worse, which makes it a very interesting topic to delve into. So, without further ado, my friends, let's dive in. If you're new to me, hi, I'm Michael Ratty, aka Musical Theater Writer Guy, aka your musical theater writing coach, and I'm the founder of the Musical Theater Writing Collective. I teach classes, I coach, I do all the things. I'm obviously a writer myself, and if you're returning, hi, hello, welcome back. Please feel free to use that comment section today. Comments? It's chat. Chats and comments later on. Okay, so let's begin here with this Tony conversation by acknowledging which of the shows I have actually seen and also going through the nomination numbers so we're all on the same page and you also know my starting place and my perspective on this. So we have the shows with 10 nominations each are Buena Vista Social Club, Death Becomes Her, and Maybe Happy Ending, all musicals. The next set of nomination numbers is at 7, and that is going to include the play John Proctor's The Villain, Sunset Boulevard, that revival, and the play The Hills of California. Hills of California is the first on this list that I have not seen. Did not get to it. We then have, with 6 nominations apiece, Floyd Collins, Just in Time, which I have not seen, Purpose, and The Picture of Dorian Gray, which I'm so sad to have missed. I know they just extended, but looking at those ticket prices, my goodness. With 5 nominations apiece, we have English. I didn't get to it. Good Night and Good Luck. I'm going to watch that pro shot tomorrow. Gypsy, Oh Mary, Stranger Things, The First Shadow. Okay. Then with 4, we have Operation Mincemeat, which I'm seeing tonight. With 3 apiece, we have Boop the Musical. I did not see it. We have Yellowface. I watched the pro shot. With 2, we have Eureka Day. Did not get a chance to see it. Real Women Have Curves. And Smash, which I did not see. Have not seen, I should say. Then, with 1 nomination apiece, we have Romeo and Juliet, which I did get to see. With that's the only one in this category I saw. Our Town, Pirates, the Penzance musical, The Roommate, A Wonderful World, the Louis Armstrong musical, Glengarry Glen Ross, and Swept Away. So, I did pretty darn good. I think out of the 22, that correct? Is it 22? 22 multiple nominated shows, I saw 15 of them. So we're going in here pretty well informed. So as we go through the major award categories today, I'm going to, through my limited perspective of only the shows that I have indeed seen, give my thoughts on who I think should win based on what I've seen, as well as who I think will win based on industry chatter, predictions, other factors that come into play. So we're going to talk about what the industry thinks is going to win from what I understand, from what I've researched and heard. who I think is going to win, and then occasionally I might toss in who I want to win. We'll see as we go. And I'm going to be going in reverse order of the nomination list. Here we go. Here we go. We're going to start with Best Orchestrations, one of the awards that does not get broadcast. It hurts my soul. Okay, Best Orchestrations. Up for this one, we had Just in Time, Maybe Happy Ending, Floyd Collins, and Buena Vista Social Club, and Sunset Boulevard. According to the industry chatter, it looks like David Cullen and Andrew Lloyd Webber are going to end up taking this for Sunset Boulevard. Though I personally think that the best orchestration of that list is Buena Vista Social Club. Like, that's the one I think will win. Industry chatter thinks it's Sunset. I think it's going to be Buena Vista. The one I enjoyed the most was Floyd Collins, but shh, don't say. Okay, so that's our first discrepancy. We go into our best choreography category here. And we have, for best choreo, we've Smash, Gypsy, Death Becomes Her, Boop, The Musicale, and Buena Vista Social Club. By the way, friends, if you've seen these things, if you have comments, if you have opinions here, put them in the chat. I want to know what you think. In terms of best choreo, the the industry chatter and I agree on this one. I think it's going to go to Buena Vista Social Club. Like I said, I didn't get to see Smash or Boop yet. I heard the choreo was great. I really liked what Christopher Gattelli did on Death Becomes Her, and I thought the Gypsy choreography was beautiful and wonderful. It's a pretty stacked category from what I understand, but I do think it's going to end up going to Buena Vista. All right, now it gets a little bit juicy. Best direction of a musicale. Okay, so we had Buena Vista Social Club, Maybe Happy Ending, Dead Outlaw, Death Becomes Her, and Sunset Boulevard. This is interesting because, okay, if you don't know how the Tonys works, hopefully you know how the Tonys works, but not all of the Tonys voters are able to see every show, is a thing that we have to acknowledge. And also, that a lot of the time when the voting is happening, it's coming down to this mixture of who people think will win, and that's who they're going to vote for, versus who they want to win, which is likely who they won't end up voting for, but they might. And so there was a lot of great direction across this. There's a lot of chatter here. I think Christopher Gattelli was a really great contender here. Jamie Lloyd, there's a lot of talk about Jamie Lloyd in this Sunset Boulevard revival, which I thought was stunning and beautiful and really well directed. But I think I agree with the industry chatter here that Michael Arden is going to quietly sweep in and take it for Maybe Happy Ending. And I think you're going to see a little bit of a trend here today as we go through, where Maybe Happy Ending actually is going to end up on the winners list a lot more than perhaps people expect necessarily. So we will see, but this is the first time that's happening for me. Have you all seen all of these? Do we agree? Does someone else want Gattelli or Lloyd to win here? Where are we at? And I don't want to say that, like, Dead Outlaw or Buena Vista Social Club couldn't win. I think they can. There definitely seems a pocket of people who really, really love Dead Outlaw. So we'll see. We'll see. There's a lot of people who are like, yeah, well, I think I'm going to vote for this one, but I really want Dead Outlaw to win. So I don't know how it's going to fall out. Ooh, it's what makes it spicy, though. It's exciting. Okay, best direction of a play. We have English, The Hills of California, Oh Mary, John Proctor is the villain, and The Picture of Dorian Gray. From my understanding, because I did not see 3 of these 5, but my understanding is that once again, this category is stacked with really phenomenal direction. I am going to go with the industry chatter here that Sam Pinkleton's going to win for Oh Mary. Oh Mary, I think, is going to take home a lot of awards on Sunday, like a lot of awards. And I think this is indeed one of them. It's that whole, like, if a show is likely to win best overall, direction often goes along with it. What I will say here, though, is I have heard nothing but phenomenal things about the picture of Dorian Gray, and so Kip Williams might get the award, maybe. Honorable mention on my own part, I really loved the direction of John Proctor's The Villain. I think Daniel Tamor did a phenomenal job and deserves recognition for it. That being said, I think it is indeed going to go to O'Mara. What do you think? Onward. Okay, how many is that? Four down already? There are what? 20 of these? Something like that? All right, best sound design of a musicale. We've got Buena Vista Social Club, Sunset Boulevard, Just in Time, Maybe Happy Ending, and Floyd Collins. Okay, I just want to say here, because I didn't see Just in Time, but I saw the others. The sound design on Broadway this year is very good. I often have trouble hearing the full extent of the sound in musical on Broadway. In part because of the way that shows are written, in part because of the orchestrations, in part because of the sound design of these older theaters, the way that they're built, the acoustics, how we work with modern sound, all those things. But I really thought the sound design was great this year. And I love saying that, love being able to say that. I do agree with the industry on this one that's going to go to Floyd Collins. That's what the industry chatter is. I agree. That being said, if you don't, okay, if you haven't seen Buena Vista Social Club yet, it's very worth a watch. It's very good. I enjoyed it. To have that many live instruments on stage and still balance the sound is hard. There's so many live instrumentalists, and it sounded great. So I don't know. I wouldn't be shocked if it snuck in. Just throwing it out there. Also, I think Sunset Boulevard is going to get a whole bunch of votes as well. All right, sound design of a play. We've got Stranger Things, John Proctor's The Villain, Good Night and Good Luck, Hills of California, Picture of Dorian Gray. So, the industry says Stranger Things for Shadow. I have a hard time disagreeing with them. In terms of sound design, it is the flashiest. It is the easiest to be like, oh my gosh, did you see what they did? Did you hear what they did? Oh my God, here we are, right? Let's vote for that one. It is indeed, it's very Netflix. This production is very, very Netflix. All the way from they run the title screen to dumb to the end of the play. And the special effects, the flashiness of the whole thing. So I think it's gonna get the votes because it's the easy one to vote for. My preference actually would be John Proctor's The Villain. I thought the sound design was incredible. It was very, very good. We'll see. We'll see how it goes. Y'all, let me know your thoughts. I want to know your thoughts. Best lighting design of musicale. All right, so we got Sunset Boulevard, Buena Vista Social Club, Floyd Collins, Maybe Happy Ending, Death Becomes Her. I have an issue on this one. So I saw Maybe Happy Ending last night, and if you haven't seen it, I don't want to spoil anything, but the way that the lighting works is it's so intertwined into the set that's hard to know where the set ends and the lighting begins. I think at least for the average theater goer. Also, projections is falling. There are wonderful projections in that shot, and they're falling with set on this one. So I think because that's true, I'm going to agree with the industry on this and go with Sunset Boulevard. Now, there are a lot of thoughts and questions that people have here as far as how does projection work in terms of does it go with scenic, does it go with lighting? Seems that it's falling with scenic this year. That being said, the way that Sunset Boulevard uses video, uses projection, and the lighting complements that and enhances it instead of taking away, is really spectacular. I don't quite know how they're doing it and executing it that well. I was impressed. Really, really impressed. Plus, to give that grayscale look to the entire production is hard, and I gotta hand it to them. I think they're gonna take it. But there's great lighting across all of these. Actually, this was a phenomenal season, guys. So good. We haven't had a season this packed with incredible art since what, 2019? This is exciting. All right, best lighting design of a play: Hills of California, Stranger Things, Good Night and Good Luck, John Proctor, and Dorian Gray. I think we're falling into our Netflix effect again here on this one. I think people are going to look at the lighting of that show and be like, oh my God, it was so flashy. Let's give it to that. That being said, I thought it was phenomenal. I thought the lighting of Stranger Things was really impressive, incredible, helped with the illusion, the magic work, um, the movement of time and place so easily and readily. I was impressed. I thought it was very good. So I will agree with the industry on this and say Stranger Things is going to take it. Again, if y'all have different opinions, tell me, please. Costume design of a musicale. We have Buena Vista, Boop, Maybe Happy Ending, Death Becomes Her, and Just in Time. Okay, a lot of great costumes throughout all of this. The flashiest of the costumes from the shows I saw was Death Becomes Her. Okay, so Death Becomes Her was Paul Tazwell, who, if you don't know who he is, you should. But also, he's the one who did the costumes for the Wicked movie. So there's this like kind of surge of love for Paul Tazwell right now. So even though I would have already given the award to Death Becomes Her anyway, I thought the costumes were so good. I am going to agree with the industry chatter, which does seem to just be so positive toward Tazwell right now, and I think Death Becomes Her is going to take it. All right, best costume design of a play. Here's where I disagree with the industry. This is the first time? I think this is the first time. Best costume design of a play. We have Good Night and Good Luck. Picture of Dorian Gray, which it could be that one. It could. That's neither of the ones I'm gonna say, but I see it. I hear chatter about it too. Hills of California, Oh Mary, and YouTube didn't alert you? No, I'm so sorry, Megas. Yeah, take a look at the little ring button. Sometimes it doesn't work for me either. I don't know why. Um, Oh Mary and also Stranger Things. So, Good Night, Good Luck, Dorian Gray, Hills of California, Oh Mary, Stranger Things. Industry chatter seems to be leaning toward Oh Mary. And I get it. Costumes were good. But the industry chatter also seems split into Dorian Gray a bit as well. I haven't seen it, but the costumes from the pictures look so good. So, there's that. I think, though, I think it could end up going to Stranger Things. In part because of the Netflix of it all, but also there's so many people on stage, there's so many costumes, and they're really good. This is so I will say I have a slight bias here. My roommate worked on Stranger Things in the costume department. That being said, my favorite design element of Stranger Things was the costumes because they were not begging for your eye. Sound design begged for your ear and was very loud at times, too loud for me. Lighting begged for you to look at things. There were a lot of flashes and effects and that sort of thing. The costumes were just really good. They were so well executed, and it didn't beg for your attention. It just did the job. Personally, I'm gonna give it to Stranger Things. But the industry says, oh, Mary, we disagree. Do you agree with me or the industry? Or Dorian Gray? Okay, scenic design of musicale. Swept Away, which isn't gonna win, but I want to give an honorable mention to it because I did not see it, but all of the reviews talked about that set. In fact, if you read all of the reviews, I walked away with those from those reviews with the set was great, the show was not. So not bad. I don't know. Didn't see it. So Swept Away, Maybe Happy Ending, Buena Vista, Death Becomes Her, Just in Time for scenic design of a musicale. Y'all, I am so with the industry on this one. We are doing Maybe Happy Ending. We agree. Why? Because after I saw it, oh my God. I The show was great, but that scenic design. Holy shapoopy. I was so impressed. I don't know how they did it. I have thoughts on how they did some of it. I know how they did some of it, but when you thought that the scenic design couldn't get any more mind-blowing, it did, and the ante kept getting upped. I was floored. I was truly floored. I haven't been floored by scenic design in so long. I don't even know when the last time was I was floored by scenic design. Holy crap. If they don't win, I will riot in the streets. Scenic design of a play. We've got English, Hills of California, Picture of Dorian Gray, Stranger Things, Good Night and Good Luck. Ah, Megas, I want to elaborate, but I don't want to spoil it. I there's so many things I want to say about Maybe Happy Ending, but I do think it would be a spoiler on the set. So I'm not going to, but I want to. Go see it if you can. If you can. And if they don't do a pro shot, I will be so sad. Okay. Seeing design of a play though. I agree with the industry. This is gonna go to Stranger Things for Shadow, in large part because of the Netflix of it all. That was the most expensive play ever put up on Broadway, I believe. I believe that's true at this point. It showed the set was wild. It's very good. Again, I have questions on how they did some of it. Yeah, it's gotta be. All right. Here we go. The first of the writing awards. And then I'm gonna take a sip of water. Best original score, music and or lyrics written for the theater. Isn't that a weird way that they phrase that? Best original score, music and or lyrics written for the theater. Anyway, we have Dead Outlaw, Death Becomes Her, Maybe Happy Ending, Operation Mincemeat, Real Women Have Curves. These are extraordinarily different scores. So very different. Dead Outlaw is a score that how do I want to say this? I did not love Dead Outlaw the way that everyone else did. I have a lot of thoughts I could relay on that. We'll save that for another day. But the score was good. I just don't know that it is best prize worthy for me. Death Becomes Her did exactly what I wanted to do, but I also walked away without being able to sing you anything from it. Maybe Happy Ending was charming, appropriate, and the show is almost entirely scored through. Operation Mincemeat, I will see tonight. We'll find out. And Real Women Have Curves was an easy listen with some really good bops in it. They're so different. I'm going to agree with the industry on this, though, and I think score is going to go to maybe Happy Ending. And I think ultimately that's where I would fall personally as well, not having seen Mincemeat yet. It did all the story work I wanted to do. It did all of the emotional work I wanted it to do. It gave me hooks when hooks were necessary, and it didn't when they weren't. It gave me time, it gave me place, it gave me story flow, it gave me emotional arc. Yeah, yeah, I'm gonna go with maybe happy ending on this. I sound whelmed. Well, writing is so close to my heart. This is what I do. How can I not be whelmed by the scores? Um, unless you mean whelmed, not in the old school sense, which meant overwhelmed, just like I feel neutral about the scores. Nothing. In which case, sure, nothing blew me off my feet score wise, but like that wasn't the point of most of these scores. So there's that. Heard though, heard. Okay, take a sip of water. While I do so, um, for those of you who don't know, or maybe you do and just need a reminder, inside the collective, Musical Theater Writing Collective, we recently released some phenomenal new features, including the new musicals database. So come join us, put your musicals in it, because it's going to be an incredible tool, an utterly insanely useful tool. And also affinity groups, so now communities within communities, which I'm so very excited about. We also have a new AI feature, and these things are great, but I'm really excited because what part of what I'm doing this summer is there's a gap of knowledge between like my free content, the stuff that's inside our resource library, like all this stuff here, and then the live courses. So I'm finally doing what I've been saying I would do now that I have the energy, time, bandwidth, and plan for it to create a video course series to walk you through the entirety of writing a musical, like from top to bottom. That will be inside the collective. It'll just be part of being a collective member. It's also going to follow essentially the same outline as the book I'm writing. So get excited, friends. And if you're not a member, come join us. Link is in the description. I'll post it again too. In the comments. All right. Here we go. Best book of a musicale, next writing award. Here we go, here we go, here we go. Buena Vista Social Club, Dead Outlaw, Death Becomes Her, Maybe Happy Ending, Operation Mincemeat. I'm going to disagree with the industry chatter. I know, spicy. Industry chatter is putting Dead Outlaw as the winner. And I don't think that that's not possible. I think that is possible, in large part because it's Itmar Moses. Okay, he's great. I didn't like the book of Dead Outlaw. In fact, I think the book is one of the major flaws of Dead Outlaw. That being said, they're not asking for my opinion. But the other possible favorite here is Maybe Happy Ending, and I think Maybe Happy Ending could take it. So I really think it's going to be either Dead Outlaw or Maybe Happy Ending. We'll see. We'll see how it goes. Ali. Prophecies. Yes, prophecies. The best performance by an actor in a featured role of a musical. We have. Right. We have. I'm gonna butcher people's names, which is terrible. We have Smash. We have Brooks Ashmanskas. Ashmanskas? I don't know how to say it. Jeb Brown in Dead Outlaw, Danny Burstein in Gypsy, Jack Malone in Operation Mincemeat, and Taylor Trench in Floyd Collins. Industry chatter is unanimous on this. That's going to Jack Malone of Operation Mincemeat. Again, I've not seen it. However, all of the artists I've been talking to have been talking about Taylor Trench in Floyd Collins, and I thought he was so good. I was floored. I've seen him on stage many, many times, and I was really impressed. So I'm going to give it to Taylor Trench, and this is more of a personal thing than anything, but all the quiet chatter is Taylor Trench. All the loud chatter is Jack Malone. So I think Trench could take it, but I think it's going to go to Jack Malone, probably. Let's be real. All right, best performance by an actress in a featured role in a musicale. We have Natalie Venetia Belcon in Buena Vista Social Club. That's going to be the winner. Julia Nettle in Dead Outlaw. Decent amount of industry chatter about her, though. Gracie Lawrence, Just in Time. Justina Machado. Real Women Have Curves. And Joy Woods in Gypsy, who I want to give an honorable mention to. I don't think she's going to take home the prize. But oh my God, she was so good. So good. My goodness. But yeah, we're going to go Buena Vista here. Chatter is pretty unanimous, almost unanimous. There are some people out there who are like, Julia Needle. Maybe. It's possible. Absolutely possible. But I think it's going to go Buena Vista. Performance by an actor in a featured role in a play. We have Glenn Davis in Purpose. Gabriel Ebert and John Proctor is the villain. Francis Jew in Yellowface. Bob Odenkirk in Glengarry Glen Ross. And Conrad Ricamora in Oh Mary. Yeah. I think it's going to go to Oh Mary. I'm going to agree with industry chatter on this one. Something you're going to notice here, friends, as we get to the actors and actresses here, that all the categories are stacked. You're not going to find a bad performance or a mediocre performance or even a good performance in these categories. They were all great. It's a tough year for this. But I do think we're going to Conrad with Oh Mary, and I agree with that. I think that's where it's headed. If there's an NB nominated for acting, what WTF category do they get put in? So this has been a question over the past several years. Currently, the wing decides based on question mark. I don't know. I don't know how they're deciding, but they just make a decision. And so you put in the man category or the girl category. It's that man or woman. There you go. Everything's binary. Okay, best performance by an actress in a featured role in a play. You got Tala Ash in English. We have Jessica Hecht in Eureka Day. Marjan Nishat. Again, I don't know how to pronounce all these names in English. Fina Straza in John Pryor as a villain, who just had a nice piece written up about her, and Carrie Young in Purpose. Eureka Day is the industry chatter here. Again, I didn't see it, so I believe them. That being said, Carrie Young has a star turn in Purpose, so I'm personally giving it to Purpose. We'll see. Best performance by an actor in a leading role in a musical. We've got Darren Criss for Maybe a Happy Ending, Andrew Duran for Dead Outlaw, Tom Francis for Sunset Boulevard, Jonathan Groff for Just in Time, James Monroe Iglehart for A Wonderful World, the Louis Armstrong musical, and Jeremy Jordan in Floyd Collins. That is 6 incredible performances. Yikes. Industry chatter is super split. Durand getting a lot for Dead Outlaw. Tom Francis getting a lot for Sunset Boulevard. Jeremy Jordan getting a lot for Floyd Collins, and Jonathan Groff getting a lot for Just in Time. I haven't heard Iglehart tossed around much, and Darren Criss, I don't know why he's getting passed over in chatter, but he is. So I do think it's going to go to Jonathan Groff, whose name also is coming up the most in chatter. I will say, though, I wouldn't be surprised if it went to Durand or Tom Francis. So keep an eye out, friends. This will be interesting. Best performance by an actress in a leading role in a musical. We have Megan Hilty for Death Becomes Her. Oh my God, she was so good. We have Audra McDonald in Gypsy. Guys, again, this is a stacked category. Jasmine Amy Rogers for Boop the Musical, Nicole Scherzinger for Sunset Boulevard, and Jennifer Simard for Death Becomes Her. I do agree with the industry chatter on this that the Death Becomes Her ladies are going to split vote there. Some people preferred Megan Hilty, some people preferred Jennifer Simard. I preferred Megan Hilty, but the question of who takes home the award is interesting because once you pull those two out, Jasmine Amy Rogers is getting a lot of play in terms of people talking about how good she is, but not the award. Where I'm hearing it split is between Audra and Nicole. I'm going to go with my gut here, and I'm going to say that it's going to be Audra who wins. I think any of them could take it, really, but I think it's going to be Audra. I hope it's going to be Audra. But yeah, we're split. Industry chatter split between McDonald and Scherzinger. What do you all think? Seriously, what do you think? Best performance by an actor in a leading role in a play. We have George Clooney in Good Night and Good Luck, Cola Escola in Oh Mary, John Michael Hill in Purpose, Daniel Day Kim in Yellowface, Harry Lennox in Purpose, and Louis McCartney in Stranger Things: The First Shadow. Again, stacked category, but industry chatter is unanimous. It's going to Cola Escola for Oh Mary, and I agree. To be fair, I think I saw an off performance. I think they were sick that night. Because a lot of things that people were saying, I was like, that didn't happen in my performance. So, and then I read an article where they were like, I do sometimes have an off performance and I feel really bad. I'm like, oh, I think I saw one of those, but I think it's going to Cole. We shall see. Best performance by an actress. We're getting down there, friends. We're almost done. Woo! Woo! Such a long list. Best performance by an actress in a leading role in a play. We have Laura Donnelly in The Hills of California, Mia Farrow in The Roommate, Latanya Richardson Jackson in Purpose, Sadie Sink in John Proctor as the villain, and Sarah Snook in The Picture of Dorian Gray. Again, stacked. Industry chatter seemed to be a bit split between Latanya Richardson Jackson. I always leave out a part of her name whenever I say it. and Sarah Snook. I think we're going Dorian Gray here, though. Just like listening to the chatter, both are being talked about a lot, but I think it's going to go with Sarah Snook on this one. So I'm going to agree, even though I haven't seen Picture of Dorian Gray. I hear that that is the role of a lifetime, and if there is a role of a lifetime sort of thing for a one-person show on Broadway, it does tend to go to that person. But that's not a blanket rule here. All right, friends. We're at the last four big awards. One more sip of water. Also join us in the collective. I said it before, but do it again. Okay, best revival of a musicale. Here we go. Floyd Collins, which never received a Broadway run until now, but was determined to be in the best revival of a musical category, the same way that Cola Scola, as a non-binary person, was determined to be in the best actor category. So we see how this works, yeah? Okay, so Floyd Collins, Gypsy, Pirates, the Penzance musical, and Sunset Boulevard. There's a lot I could say here. I've not seen Pirates. I hear it's silly and fun. That's lovely. That Gypsy revival was really, really good. But I do think a large part of that comes from the performances. Not that the revival isn't great on the whole, it is. So I don't think it's going to Gypsy. Floyd Collins blew me away. That being said, it's a weird show. And I think weird is not going to get the award here. I do think that this is going to go to Sunset Boulevard. Am I mad about that? Not necessarily. That was an incredible revival. It was really, really good. I loved it, top to bottom. And I saw Mandy Gonzalez, and she was so good, so good. So I'm going to agree with the industry chatter, which leans Sunset, and I'm going Sunset. Woo! Do you agree? Do you guys agree? Give me your thoughts. Best revival of a play. Eureka Day. Romeo and Juliet. Excuse me, Romeo plus Juliet. Which, just a quick note here about Romeo plus Juliet. Shakespeare revivals on Broadway notoriously don't get a nomination. They might get a nomination for a performance, but they don't otherwise get nominations, and they certainly don't get a Best Revival of a Play nomination. The fact that they got one tells you how good that production was, and it was. I thought it was stellar. Absolutely stellar. So just throwing that out there. So Eureka Day, Romeo plus Juliet, Thornton Wilder's Our Town, and Yellowface. Industry chatter is going almost unanimously to Eureka Day, which I did not get to see. However, the rest of the chatter that isn't Eureka Day is Yellowface. And I did watch the pro shot of Yellowface, and doing the research I did about the original production, the play itself, the story behind the play that inspired it, I am personally going to go with Yellowface. I think Yellowface might sneak in and take it. So we shall have to see. Well, thank you for being here for the vibes. I appreciate it. I appreciate you being here. All right, two more, friends. Here we go. The big ones. Best play. They're all big, let's be real. And also, let's acknowledge the fact that so many of the people who work on Broadway don't even have a category to be nominated in. Throwing that out there. Best play. We have English, The Hills of California. John Proctor is the villain, and Oh Mary. Going to agree with the industry chatter that's going to go to O'Mary. I'd rather that John Proctor's the villain win. I said it. I said it. I said it. I said it. Because here... there's nothing separating out best play as a script from best play as a production. And I think if we were looking at this category in terms of best play as a script, I'd give it to John Proctor's The Villain. But since it's best play as a whole, without that separation, I'm going to agree. It's going to go to O'Mary. I have so many opinions on the Tony Awards. For another day. For another day. Okay. And now, best musicale. We have One of East the Social Club, Dead Outlaw, Death Becomes Her, Maybe Happy Ending, and Operation Mincemeat, a new musical. If we've learned nothing from today, it's that there's a lot of really great work in here. And also, there's some splitting of people's opinions, for sure. That being said, Maybe Happy Ending is almost unanimously the answer here. That Outlaw is getting a decent amount of play as well, though. And I'm going to agree. I think it's going to go to Maybe Happy Ending. I think, again, if we are looking at the production of the thing on the whole, top to bottom, all the things, it's got to be Maybe Happy Ending. It's got to be. Woo! That's it, friends. That's the whole thing. We did it. Somehow we're here. We did it. Do we have questions? Do we have thoughts? I'll stick around for a second. But the season was so stacked that this was really hard this year. And I love when it's hard in general to award any one person in any category, let alone to nominate 5 or 6 things or people in a certain category. It's like that struggle speaks to where we are right now this season and how Broadway has really come back with a vengeance here. Finally, post-COVID, quote unquote, post-COVID, right? And not that there aren't issues, not that the Tony Awards are perfect. They're not. But I love creating about. I love Tony Night. I think it is fun. It's delightful. This is when a lot of people get to see Broadway. The only time they get to see Broadway the whole year is watching the Tony Awards. There's so much merit to it, and it's a lot of fun. I love filling out a ballot and seeing how well I do. And y'all, I did my ballot publicly this year, so you can tell me how well I did. I'll tell you how well I did. But I love that it was hard. That makes me so happy. And it's not just because there's a lot of money getting thrown at productions that end up filling 41 Broadway theaters. It's that there's so much great art and money in combo platter this year. I'm impressed. Hopefully you were too. Okay, that's what I got for you. That's it. That's the whole kit and caboodle. So, hey, thank you for joining me, friends. If you are a collective member, don't forget on Sunday we're having our next pitch party in the afternoon. That's at 1 p.m. Eastern time. And then we are doing, of course, well, we're not collectively doing the Tony Awards, but the Tony Awards are Sunday night. So we have an event and then the Tony Awards. So don't forget to watch, my friends. All right, y'all. I adore you. I look forward to seeing you in our next live stream in 2 weeks. And otherwise, hey, come join us in the collective. Okay, love y'all.